Hello and welcome to Artwork, a conversation with creative people about the joys, the challenges, and the mundane moments of living an artistic life. We're your hosts. I'm Poppy Rose.
And I'm Brea Robertson.
And our artist today is Charlotte Hannah, one of my besties from my Leeds College of Music days.
Charlotte Hannah is a British singer-songwriter and YouTuber from Yorkshire in the UK. After deciding to leave university at the end of the first year, she has been passionately working on her music career by building a successful YouTube channel, which now has over 21,000 subscribers.
From posting covers with her camera sitting on piles of books in her bedroom, to now working with Grammy-nominated producer and artist Boom Dice to release her latest single, Confidence, Charlotte is an incredible example of hard work paying off.
In this episode, Charlotte shares why there's no such thing as an overnight success, her tips on how to build a successful YouTube channel, and how she's managed to dip her toe in so many aspects of her industry, including recording, producing, video editing, directing, and marketing, as well as writing and singing songs.
There are so many practical tools and ideas in this episode for those of you trying to build your own following online. So let's get inspired and kickstart 2021 with a bang. Welcome, Charlotte, to the podcast. It is so good to have you here today. We've been friends since we were, 16?
16. Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have a good old chat with you today. I'm excited to dig into all of the music things since we both left uni at the same time after first year.
I know, it's crazy. I was thinking about this, and what I tell everyone when they're like, you know, what made you leave uni? What was the decision? It was literally us two. We went to a Nina Nesbitt concert, and we just got so inspired. Went back afterwards, we were like, right, this is it. We're out. We're going.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah, I love how it was music that inspired us. Like, we were just doing all these essays, and, you know, credit to uni, it's amazing for some, but for us creatives, it just wasn't the route. So we got inspired by the live gig scene, was like, we're doing this is what we're going to do. So we like made a pact together, and then we stuck to it, and we got out there.
Yeah, I'd actually forgotten about that concert. Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that was that night. We were like, this is it, we're going to do this, and we're going to leave uni. Oh my God.
I know, mad. And look where we are now. Crazy.
It's so amazing to me that you were both studying together at uni, and then you both kind of realized it wasn't the right thing for you. Like, it takes a lot of courage to leave an educational institution that kind of is a very nice safety net as an artist to get started, and to kind of leave that. Charlotte, when you left, how did you feel? Did you have any ideas of what you were going to do after that?
I felt amazing when I left, really, because the goal was just, you know, making it in the music industry. And for me, literally putting that as my first focus and having nothing but that was the best way. I just kind of lost myself in just this, in just literally the recording world and writing. And I was very lucky to be able to have done that, you know. I just kind of moved back home from uni and then just invested all my time in that process. And it was amazing, because I think I developed so quick over like a few years. And it was the best route, I think, for me. It's how things are like panned out is never how, like, you can never envision it. You always set your goals, but you don't know, you know, where it's going to take you. But the whole process of that, it's been many ups and downs, but it's been I've grown a lot, and it's a journey nevertheless. So yeah,
I think on that is that you left uni, but you had such a huge drive and such a huge passion, and so you work so hard at what you do because you love it so much. But is there what is the absolute drive that is like making you work so hard? Is it just this huge love? You know, is there a end goal in sight? You said you wanted to, you know, making it is your goal, but like, what does that mean for you? And what drives you to do that?
Making it when I was like younger, when I was like 13, was obviously like pop star, next Ariana Grande, next Taylor Swift. It was like shiny lights, like all of that. And it still is. But I think now what matters to me more is it's just releasing music that I am really passionate about, and it actually means a lot to me, and the message is authentic, and it's just then building a career around that and just being, living off it, letting it pay the bills and being very happy doing so. Like I used to set crazy, silly, or not silly, but very optimistic goals that were kind of almost, I don't know. Like I'm very driven, but I was always almost driven to like a bit of a fault. Like I was so hardworking. But I guess we all are in our own way. But now I think it's just more important to me to have the balance alongside it all, and happiness, and just kind of let it all happen harmoniously and naturally, and not to rush things anymore, and just enjoy the process, which just took a long time for me to understand.
So when you moved home and you had this goal, you had this dream, and you had all this time now, what was your plan? Did you have a plan of like how you were going to tackle the music industry, or did you just like start? Because you have created over the last few years a very successful YouTube channel. Did you have the goal that was going to be your pathway, or did you just kind of get started?
That was definitely, I always saw YouTube as the route. But what happened is, so when I left uni and I started recording at Steelworks recording studios in Sheffield, my producer there, Tom, at the time said, like, while we're doing all these demos and recording and writing, you need to build up your online presence. So he's like, go to YouTube, do some covers, and just be consistent with it. And that's literally what I did. So I think when anyone asks me like, I want to do YouTube, what do I do? All I ever say is just like, do current music or something you're really passionate about and you think is like your niche or something, and then be consistent with it. Like, don't fluctuate the days. Like, make sure it's like Monday and Friday and stick to it, and then it will grow gradually. It happens. But I mean, I'm a hypocrite because I am late, I am rubbish, I miss days. Like, it's so hard to be so consistent. But if you kind of try and be around that does super help. But yeah, I always wanted YouTube to be the goal, but I don't know. It's weird now. It's for a route for sure, but now there's like more avenues like TikTok and like gigging routes, and there's literally so many ways. So I don't think for me it's going to be YouTube full stop, but that's definitely been a massive contribution. Like, I built my Instagram following from YouTube and stuff. So yeah, that has been the main route until now.
And so with your YouTube videos, how did you learn the skills to record your own sound and edit it and edit the videos? Because I know something we will talk about later is you've really advanced in your music video editing and stuff. At the start of it, when it was just you in your bedroom, like sometimes just doing live covers, sometimes doing extra harmonies and things as well. How did you learn those skills to do that for yourself and on your own?
I think literally, I started doing playing around with like iMovie and GarageBand and stuff when I was like 13, and I've always been recording since then. So I think I've kind of just like taught myself over the years. And I think maybe like watching YouTube videos, being at BOA when I went to it's called Birmingham Orchestra Academy, like a little performing arts school I went to when I was 13. We had like, what was so cool, like, Poppy, we did the beat at level 3 LCOM.
Yeah.
We did the level 2 at BOA. So it was like the same program, but just like the level below I did when I was like 13, 14, 15. So we was doing all them skills on like Logic and stuff then. So I kind of was just like drip fed this information over the years. And then by the time it got to doing it myself, and I just kind of had learned so much. And then everything else I needed to learn, I kind of went to YouTube or asked someone at the studio, and just kind of just found a way to do it. But it's weird. I can't really remember like a specific way I learned. I think I just kind of just found a way somehow.
That's so great.
Do you think that that's an important part of like succeeding on YouTube in terms of like the quality of the videos that you're uploading, especially if it's in music or something? Is that crucial to getting a good following and for people to want to watch your videos?
100%. I think you definitely like need good lighting, a good like background, a good like place to be in and stuff. That's amazing. I think with audio now, I'm like kind of half and half, because it always should be clear and stuff. Everyone needs to like hear what you're doing. But I've noticed sometimes there's videos on YouTube now going viral where people are just using their iPhone like audio. And now I'm trying to find a balance between, you know, do you do all these microphone recorded, edited, studio like engineered covers, which I obviously edit myself. Like there's no producer like sat there like auto tune nothing. I do it all myself. But now I've seen on YouTube, it's really great to have like lovely lighting and a background, but then like raw audio, which is taken off because it's people. I think now YouTube is so saturated. It's nice to see an organic, natural voice. So yeah, just make sure your audio is great. But then whether you do it with the microphone or not, I don't think that really matters. I think it's just kind of, you know, make it look pretty and yeah, bright.
I think that's such a good tip, because sometimes when you see all these YouTube videos and you think, oh my gosh, I don't have the money for this equipment and the microphones and the cameras, but you know, you can just do it with your phone. You know, most people these days have a good smartphone, so if you can just
Yeah.
do it with that, like
Oh
it
my
makes
God.
it so accessible for anyone who wants to try.
Until last year or the year before, I literally had like my camera on books. I made my own tripod. I think we've all probably done that at some point, but it's literally like
Yeah.
books stacked up, and sometimes the books fall over and my camera falls, and fingers crossed it's not broken. And I like literally only until my granny gave me my granny's old camera tripod, which I didn't know existed, like last year. You know, it's all very DIY behind the scenes. We try and make it not look that way, but it kind of is.
Yeah. That's a good reminder. That's
Yeah,
nice.
definitely.
And you mentioned that you kind of like, as an artist, maybe you need to find your niche of the types of songs that you're recording and uploading. Did you find that over time, or did you always know a particular genre that you wanted to stick with?
Well,
What was your niche?
yeah, so what I did is, well, when I was recording demos at the studio, which would eventually like be on my album or singles or an EP or something, um, the route we went is like, you know, pick covers that mirrors your sound that you're going to release. So when people hear your music that you're going to release, they're already into that. Like you're already giving them your sound through a cover. So I just made sure I picked all like pop songs and like upbeat stuff and things that kind of mirrored my sound. So people were already used to it and already into it, rather than me doing piano ballads for 3 years and then releasing a pop EP and people being like, whoa, what's this? Like, where's she come from? Like, you know, I tried to kind of like just merge the two worlds a little bit. And also, a little tip, just doing all the pop stuff that comes out every week is just an easier way to get views because people are already searching for those songs. So if you want to grow quickly, sing the current songs because it's just it's what's trending,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And even if the pop style isn't your style, you could always take the the current songs that are in the top 10 and do it in your own different style as well.
That does so much better. Like make it your own because there's already that pop artist doing it. You know, you can give it a whole new lease of life. So do that. I think sometimes when I've done YouTube, I haven't been able to do that because like the time frame to get the cover out super quick to get a good audience behind it. Sometimes you just gotta literally just sing it with a backing track or something. But then sometimes I do it with a piano or a guitar. So yeah, try everything.
So how did it feel for you when you were uploading these videos and then slowly people started to watch them and you started to build a bit of a following? What did that feel like?
It was exciting. And what's so lovely is I don't often think about like right now, like I don't often kind of let myself think back to that period of like slow growth. And it's so lovely now to actually think like, oh my God, what was that like? And I remember like setting myself goals, like, you know, one day I'll hit 5,000 subscribers, then I'll hit 10,000 subscribers. This is what will happen then 15, then 20. And every milestone I just kind of like took myself back for a minute and thought, oh my God, I can remember when I think yesterday I found like a little like a mind map thing where I think I wrote on, like I started out on YouTube, I think at like 2,000 subscribers. I'd built up from being like 13 when I was at like in Birmingham. I did like a few little covers and I built up to 2,000. And I remember that's my starting point. And I think like looking back, I know like I've got 20,000, 20 odd thousand now. And that's like, some people have millions, you know, like it's not massive, but for me, it's still a growth and like, you know, represents all that hard work over time. So yeah, it's always nice to appreciate the milestones for sure.
You have actually built quite a community with your followers, right? And then building like an Instagram following with your YouTube followers. So you've actually kind of created a community with the people who have listened to your music. And how have you done that? What's been your strategy of actually connecting with the people that are listening to your music rather than you just being another person on YouTube that they're listening to?
And I haven't got like a solid answer or reason or way, but I think maybe it's because I always give people time. I always try and get to know like the fans, and I want them to be happy, and I want to make sure they're enjoying what I'm singing, and I just like to connect with everyone. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's I give people time and chat to them on Instagram and learn about them a little bit, and just yeah, I think one thing that kind of brought us together was when I was doing gigs, and some of them would show up and then bring their friends, and then it kind of built like that a little bit, and then I just made sure that I was just connecting with them, and they've stayed on board, and I'm very, very thankful for that.
Yeah,
I
that's
love that.
beautiful. Because I think we've talked to a lot of musicians on the podcast, and sometimes it can get a little bit like frustrating as a musician or an artist on the internet at the moment, that it just seems sometimes like a numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so easy to just see the numbers and be like, oh, I've had 15,000 views, great. But and forget that it's actually people who are investing time into listening or consuming your music, and that they are worthy of your time. And
100%. And what I always think about as well is like, it's amazing getting loads of views online, but it is like you say, converting them into fans. It's the people that you talk to on the daily, that comment on your photos and your videos on the daily, that take away the numbers, take away the subscribers, take away all of that, put you in a room with it and do a gig. Who's going to show up? So it's like you say, it's the community you build. 100%. Yeah.
So a nice little segue there onto gigs and live performances. Obviously last year they weren't possible. And maybe not for the future, who knows. But you have quite an amazing repertoire of quite large shows and gigs under your belt, where you've had backing dancers and all sorts of things going on. So tell us a little bit about that, what that was like, what it was like having backing dancers. I mean, was that a dream come true?
It was a dream come true. It was so fun. And looking back now, so obviously this was 2019 actually I started preparing for like my debut gig in 2018, like October. I sourced a choreographer, and we was like training like 3 times a week. And then it went to training like every day, like the following year. And then finding like, it was my job to like source backing dancers as well. So I was like scouting around for some dancers, and found like 4 incredibly talented girls that joined me on stage, and then we just trained together all the time. And do you know what? It was literally like living that dream that I'd envisioned for my career, like 5 years down the line, let alone like 2 years ago. It was living that there and then, and it was, oh my god. Okay, so to be real, it was super fun, super obviously hard work. I think at that point in my life, I was, like law of attraction, I was so in that mindset of, this is it, I'm gonna make it, this is what I'm doing, I was just consumed by that whole thing, and I loved it. It was hard nevertheless, and it was a total change for me, because I had to go from like being at uni, then being this online grafter on YouTube, to then being a full-time artist, still not really earning anything from that yet. Like it was very strange and very hard work, can't speak. But it was fun. It was so fun. And then when we did the gig, oh my god, I wanted to do it again. And then luckily I was able to. But it was a journey. It was such a journey.
So what was your favorite show or like favorite moment from doing live performances?
Ooh, oh my gosh. My favorite. Can I say all of them, please?
Yeah, cool. Next question.
Actually, well, obviously the first gig, doing that at City Hall, was like I was very starstruck the whole time, feeling very grateful that Elliot invited me, who's my producer, to his like, it was his birthday concert. So he invited like all his like, everyone he's worked with. So like Gary Barlow and Alfie Bow and people, invited all them to this show. And I was literally like stood there at the side of the stage like, oh my God, what is going on? Like it was so great. And then that's a really special moment, because it was like the first big gig I ever did. And the first time I wore in-ears on stage, the first time I had dancers, like it was really cool. First time I had a dressing room or something, like it was fun. And then another moment was when I did T-Fest. So that'll have been, oh my gosh, that'll have been like 2019 again. So long ago. That was one of my last gigs one of my last gigs actually because of COVID, which is crazy. But so with T-Fest, I first performed at that festival when I was 13 with my piano on the acoustic stage. Like 5 people came to watch me. I was like very small and very shy. And then going from that to then when I performed on the headline stage, like runner up to Fleur East with all my tracks and wearing a glittery dress and seeing a massive crowd. That for me, I think actually is my favorite part of my career so far. Like going from and it's my hometown festival. It's in the village I live. Going from being like the little girl that no one knows to being on the main stage was such a dream come true. Like that's such a special moment so far. And then doing an arena. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Poppy, can you remember when we was at Elcom? I used to walk past like Lee's First Direct Arena and be like,
No.
you know, one day
One day you'll be there.
And then it did.
You were.
And I was. So that was lovely as well.
Hello.
Hello.
It's your Artwork podcast hosts briefly interrupting this episode. We hope you're enjoying this conversation and feeling really inspired by this story.
We'd just like to remind you that the Artwork podcast is a completely independent project, and we'd really appreciate your help in spreading the word. You can support us by subscribing, leaving a comment or review, and sharing the podcast with your friends.
We'd also like to invite you to take part in the Artwork conversation by joining our Artwork Community Facebook group. There, you will be able to connect with the artists we have featured on the podcast and share your journey with like-minded creatives.
We can't wait to see you there. Let's get back to the conversation.
Thank you.
Once you started to get like recognized on YouTube, you started to get label interest.
Mm-hmm.
Was that because of YouTube, or did you have other connections who were kind of linking you to that?
A bit of both, really. When we started working on music, Elliot Kennedy, he was just like in touch with labels and putting me like, you know, in the, not the public eye, but in the label's eye, and just kind of just overseeing what we've been writing and working on and just seeing my progress and stuff. So yeah, it was a bit of, probably the YouTube helped, you know, having that online presence I'm sure helped, but yeah, industry connections also helped a lot too.
And what has that process been like for you? Like having a label, I'm not really sure where you're at with that at the moment, but I would say a lot of artists, a lot of musicians, the goal would be to be signed, to find a label who's interested in them. Have you found that has been what you expected, or has that process been different to how you thought it would be?
Yeah, it's definitely been a longer process than I ever thought. Like, but then you can't plan anything. It's just, you know, there's no such thing as an overnight success. You don't get anything quickly. And I just learned that, you know, you just got to stay true to yourself and keep grafting and keep going. And, you know, whatever, if we do want to go the label route, and that is still a dream of mine. Like I would still love to be signed by a major because they just give you so much reach and so much, you know, the budgets and so much like support that you don't have as an independent artist. Because as fun as it is being an independent, like it's beautiful because you're in control, but sometimes you just lack the funding to make those dreams come to life. So obviously that would be amazing still. But yeah, I think with a label kind of thing, it's just knowing that, you know, labels are always going to be there. They're not going to go away. So you're just going to keep grafting, keep doing your thing, stay true to yourself, and just what will be will be. We'll have to just wait and see.
That's such an important point, saying that their labels will always be there. Because I think we were in a similar place, Charlotte, especially at that Nina Nesbitt gig, where we were kind of told that if we don't make it by the time you're 23 or, you know, early 20s, then there's no point. And I think that's obviously not true. Oh my God, not true. But I think remembering that there's always going to be labels there, there's always going to be people, the music industry, I mean, let's hope is always going to be there. It may have to like go underground, but it will always be there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is more important to take your time and like figure out who you are and what you want to do, rather than just like rushing into it because I'm running out of time, you know, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
we've got all the time in the world. We've got our whole lives, really. And like, I always think of people like, you know, like Lizzo and Lewis Capaldi and these people that are kind of like, well, Lewis Capaldi, I guess, is like our age-ish now. You know, they will have been, I kind of feel like the graft to get in the public eye massively is like maybe a 10-year thing. And all these like Ariana Grande's, they were child stars. You got to remember that we started this graft about a few years ago. We've got time to keep growing. So, you know, that's what I think is, I always saw myself as like still like a young teen pop star kind of thing. If I'm 30 and I've matured and I'm singing R&B, I'm ready. Like, lovely. Let's do that.
I'm ready
Like,
for that as well. Oh my god.
same. Well, that's a little hint, Poppy. But shh. Okay.
This has been a theme that's come up a lot as well, especially for women, that we feel this pressure to like do things quickly. Our time frame's not so big. Have you, as a woman, like had any challenges in the industry with your feeling your age, or just being a woman and trying to like make your voice heard?
Oh God. I think one thing I've found is as you both know me, I'd like to say I'm a very kind, pleasant person. I'm, I feel like, especially when I first started out in the music industry, like I was this kind of blonde, shy, wanting to please everyone, people pleaser person, always wore glitter. I was the girliest girl, and I think people saw that. Maybe this is my wrong judgment, but I feel like a lot of the time I was just seen as this little girl that kind of didn't understand, and I've grown up with that, and only now can I kind of sit and I feel like I speak my mind and I'm starting to be listened to. And you know, just because I came straight from uni doesn't mean I don't understand like music and stuff. Like, I'm very passionate about my craft and what I've got to say. And yeah, I think being a girl or a woman, woman, both, obviously, it is sometimes harder to, you know, be heard sometimes, or be not even heard, listened to, and then taken, what's the word? Taken seriously. Yeah. And then I've kind of had to grow up, like, at first being fine with being guided, but now I've got so much I want to say and do. So I love that I'm being my ideas and stuff are being listened to, and that's really something very, very important to me and everyone. I'm sure, you know, you always want to be heard and be in control of your creative stuff. So yeah.
You could say you've grown in confidence.
Maybe. Oh,
Oh.
definitely.
So that actually leads us on very nicely to your new single, which is an absolute bop. Oh my god.
Cheers.
I turn
Thank
it
you.
on and I'm like walking around my flat, like strutting, like, oh my gosh. I love it. And it's had
Thanks.
so many plays already, and it's only been out a little while.
Mhm.
But yeah, so this song is called Confidence. We will play a little clip of it now, in the background of the pod. And I absolutely love this song. It's such a different turn for you. So what inspired you to write this song called Confidence,
Yeah.
about being confident, owning who you are? Because I love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So basically how this song came about was early this year, one of Brian, so I co-wrote this song with Brian Wilson, whose artist name is Boom Dice. And also I only found out till working with him. He's such an amazing, acclaimed like artist himself. He's worked with like Mabel, Stormzy, won Grammys with them, and Sophie Tucker, who he introduced me to Sophie Tucker, who's this like electronic duo from the US. Oh my days, they're amazing. But yeah, so someone introduced me to Brian on Instagram. His music manager friend popped us in touch, and then Brian sent me all these beats over on email, and he explained that he was doing this project, and it's kind of fitting into everything that we've just been like speaking about. What Brian's done is he's worked in the music industry as a producer for many years with all these amazing artists, and then he's kind of realized that all these other artists, these independent artists, kind of think the only way to get heard is to go to a label. And he's like, no, I'm going to be the middleman that doesn't exist really, and give these artists a platform. So I loved that concept. I was like, I'm on board. And he sent me these beats over, and I heard the one for confidence, and I was listening to like 10 different ones, and I kept coming back to the confidence beat. And for me, it was such like a new direction. It was such a mature sound. I got so excited because I'm obsessed with like Madonna, Britney Spears, like all the, pop legends. And I heard like that influence in there, and I was like, okay, I'm claiming this. Yes, please. Thank you very much. So then I told him I loved it. And then we I started like brainstorming ideas, what I wanted to say. And then we jumped on a Zoom session with my songwriting team. So my producer, Tom Barker, and then Hattie Murdoch and Parissa Shamir, who I write with a lot now. And we all started just brainstorming ideas. Press pause, need a breath.
It's like I'm listening to it already on 1.2 speed.
So yeah, we all jumped on a Zoom call, and I just came to the table with like, I wanted a song with a message that I hadn't spoke about yet, and I wanted it to be like very LGBTQ plus, very accepting. And at this time, there was all like the Black Lives Matter movement. There was all this different stuff going on in the whole world. And I was like, I just want a song that accepts everyone and tells everyone to love yourself as you are. You're enough. You're amazing. Be confident in your skin, body size, height, just literally love yourself. You are everything. And I pitched it to everyone, and they were like, okay, Charlotte, this is new. And I was so headstrong. I was like, well, this is it. I don't want to write another pop song about a boy. I don't want to write a pop song about summer. I want to say something I really feel passionate about. And thankfully everyone jumped on board, and Confidence was born.
Don't matter your size or the cut of your hair, I see you backed up in the corner, you're feeling kind of scared. I see you, feel you, breathe you in. Come on and give me more. Heal you, see you, breathe you in. Need you to give me more. If you live in your truth and your love for your love, we need you. Your skin and your bone and you bleed the same blood. I see you, feel you, breathe you in. Come on and show me more. Every time you feel less confident, I want you to think of me. Never be scared of fitting in, I just want you to feel free. Show me that confidence. Show me that.
And I guess, I don't know, I don't know if the message is like black and white in the song. I don't know whether you need to like listen to it and read into it, but I do hope that is what people can take from it.
You also filmed, directed, edited, starred in, wrote everything for the music video as well. You did that all yourself, and I love it in the YouTube in the description box. You're like, written by Charlotte Hannah, starring Charlotte Hannah, directed by Charlotte Hannah, edited by, everything. And I was just so blown away by the quality of that video, because it's insane.
Thank
and
you.
The fact that you did it all on your own, like, where did you start? What was it like? How did you do it all?
Well, basically, when I did like the directed edited thing, like it was a bit of a joke, but then at the same time I was like, do you know what? Like, I have done everything. You always put credits in a music video and credit the makeup artist and everyone. And I thought, well, I guess I was all those roles, so might as well say cheers.
Definitely.
But where it all started is like in the first lockdown, I released like my first single of this year, and I obviously wanted a music video for it. It was called Pretend to Forget, so I made a music video for that. And then I did my next single called Poison, and then I wanted a music video for it, so I did a music video for that. But luckily we was out of lockdown, so I could get a filming team around me, but I still wanted to edit it because, like, you know me, I'm such a perfectionist, and I just believe in my vision so much that I know like only I can kind of bring that to life because it's in my brain. So I edited that. So my skills were kind of developing over this time since June. And then when it came to Confidence, I was like, oh my gosh, another music video, because it takes me weeks to do. Like, obviously I'm not a video editor, so like I can't do it quickly.
You are.
Oh, well, thank
Yes,
you.
you are.
I am now. Okay, I wear the badge. I am. I'm a video editor. So yeah, I kind of just learned these skills again, like how I did YouTube covers. I just learned them by doing it. Like when I got stuck, little YouTube search to help me out. But yeah, I think by the time I got to Confidence, I felt a lot more comfortable working with Final Cut Pro. Like I literally bought it in June and struggled my way through in the first video. But yeah, just learned on the job and really enjoyed it.
I think it's so easy for musicians to think that like I can't do a music video. I have to get a team, or I need a team to help me with this, or I need to find someone to help me with this. But actually, if you can, it's totally fine to do it yourself. It's so liberating to do it yourself.
It really is. Like, even I feel like for the next ones, I definitely want to work with a team and do like a different kind of music video, maybe something more pop or something more with like a different vision, like let someone else's vision guide it. But by doing these 3 first music videos, I like, I feel like it's so authentic. Like, it's like obviously it's my song, then the video was created by me. I feel like people are seeing my brain, my creative side, like in that sense as well, visually. So that's really cool because like I've literally been able to guide the whole project, and I'm sure I'll look back in years to come and be like, oh my god, that's such a special time, like as if I did that. Like it took like 5 weeks to create the Confidence music video, and that's like doing that and nothing else for 5 weeks straight.
We've heard some amazing highlights, and we've heard like some really beautiful things that you've done. What's the other side of the coin as an independent musician, like working on these projects? Have there been challenges that you've had to face over the last few years as you work on creating your project and getting into the public eye? What kind of challenges have you faced?
There's been literally challenges at like every single step. And you know what? It's lovely to speak about it because I feel like I'm such an optimistic person. Like I never display any challenges like on my social media, unless like I remember like when I was doing the Poison music video and like the hard drive broke and I had to let everyone, oh my god, 5 days delay, like and I had to like kind of admit that things were kind of like going wrong. But yeah, there's been so many challenges. I think one of the hardest or the realizations I've had to have recently is just like and like Poppy will understand this 100%, like I've just been, and you can probably, when I say Poppy can understand, it's just like how our friendship is. You probably will know how I get so consumed in like music and what it's like demanded of me like over the last few years. I feel like I've just given everything to it and just kind of lost myself in the world, and it's been for good, bad thing, who knows? I literally don't. It's just, I don't know. I think in any like walk of life, your job, your passion, your love can consume you. But I just did it in such an all or nothing way that, you know, I lost touch with friends. I stopped socializing. I just thought work, graft, like work now, play later, whatever the saying is. And obviously, luckily, Poppy, our relationship, our friendship is so beautiful. Like we always, like especially COVID times, us two and Gina always keep touch like that. Like this isn't relating to our friendship whatsoever. I've just noticed I just started to like slip away from people. And I just said that's fine, you know, with music industry there is what's that word? You have to sacrifice. That's the word. There's a sacrifice in music and in any creative place. But I just think I took it to an extreme, and only now do I realize that, you know, it's, you need to treat yourself, and I have not been doing that. Like I've not been taking time for myself. I've not been like just giving my friends time, and now I've got a boyfriend, like giving him time. I think that's helped me realize that you need to have that balance. And oh my god, I've written a song about it out in February next year. I mean this year, oh my. But yeah, I think just learning that, you know, I thought that I'd just graft really hard for a few years and it just work, but I've realized it just doesn't do that, and you've got to look after yourself in the meantime. And I get that now. Like maybe too late, but maybe not.
That is a really important lesson to learn.
I struggle with that too. Even in lockdown, my friends call me and they say, "Do you have time?" And I'm like, somehow I don't.
Yeah.
So easy to just focus on that and want to give it all your energy.
I commend that. That's amazing. Like, well done us. Like we're so passionate. We've given it our life. Like, well done to that. You know, we obviously have so much to say and to write about and release. Like we just want it to work so people can hear our stories. That's literally it. I do think in the past, like, it was very tunnel vision, and now it's just literally learning to appreciate everything around me whilst it's going on. And yeah, I'm glad I realized that now, 100%.
You can have the little goals. Like, remember when you were saying that like your aim was 5,000 and then, you know, 10,000 YouTube followers. And so we will always have these goals, but then what happens when we get there? We'll want to have a new goal. We'll want to press on even further. And so if we're not enjoying the journey, we're not going to enjoy reaching the goals either, because there'll always be something more we can do. And I think that's something I've had to realize, is that I can have goals, but as soon as I reach them, I'm still not satisfied. I want to do more. I want to reach further. And if you're not enjoying the journey along the way, then it's just not worth it, really.
Yeah, and that's why I think like now, like I am just learning to enjoy every single second. And I think that is when things truly do like align and work, when you are just fully happy what you're doing and appreciating everything. Everything is just so much more fun and valuable. Yeah.
And taking time to celebrate the wins as well when you do reach those goals, making sure that you're doing something to treat yourself, or like, making time to go and see a friend, or making time just for you to have a bath, and actually reflecting and celebrating the win and celebrating achieving that goal, I think is so important. Even if it's just like a small goal.
Yeah.
Having a way to celebrate that isn't necessarily just having a drink, but sometimes that's nice too. But finding a way to celebrate yourself and what you've achieved in a healthy, sustainable way is a good thing.
And because it's so easy, isn't it? It's so easy to just not realize things we've achieved along the way. And to some people, like they'll be looking at that thinking, wow, that's an achievement. And because it's yourself, you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. But then you have to think about it and you're like, that is an achievement. Like, could I speak to my 13-year-old self and say, just done a music video that's hit, X amount of views? It's like, that is an achievement,
For me, at the 2019, which was the most ridiculous year of my life, so busy, and I did achieve so much, but it's still at the end of the year when I reflected back, I was like, oh, well, I still haven't done enough. And that was when I realized, okay, like I have a little problem here, because I have done way more than enough. I've worked myself into the ground. I've broken my whole spirit and my whole body just from working so hard. And that's when I was like, okay, this mindset needs to change, of I'm not doing enough, because you are. And you need to like find a way to recognize that and celebrate it. So.
Yeah, I think we've had that revelation at the same time. Honestly, like I was the same. I've been the same until maybe lockdown has been like a blessing in disguise. It's made me kind of realize things. But yeah, I've had people say to me like, when do you stop? And I'm like, when I'm dead. Like I want to work. And honestly, it's a great drive, but sometimes I know I always come to the end of the night and I don't know how to switch off sometimes. I'm like, I don't know how to put my phone down. I don't know how to watch something on TV without not like, I can't give it my full attention. So it's been like kind of learning how to relax as well. Which is
that is a legit thing. I know. I had to do that this year as well, honestly. Like, it is a challenge to learn to relax when you are so driven and you have so much motivation and you're so excited and what you do makes you so happy, to actually learn to stop that, because you think, well, why would I want to stop? But actually finding a way to stop and finding a balance between actually resting. You realize that you come back after
with
the
more
rest.
Energy.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you worth, doesn't it? It honestly gives everything you do value, because you appreciate the downtime, you appreciate the, the hard work or the successes or the challenges. Like literally, I stopped doing YouTube covers and stuff while I was editing the music video, and I'm going to be filming one over the next 2 days, and I can't wait. Like I used to do it every single day and be like, it was such a repetitive thing, but now I've not done one for like a month. I can't wait. So it's like appreciating things more. Like, I think when like YouTube became a job and stuff, it became a job. It didn't become, oh my gosh, I love to sing. Let's sing some songs for people. So it's remembering that it still is that. That's well, it's all it ever will be. It's a big passion.
So if you have any words of wisdom for our listeners, Charlotte, who might be trying to do what you do or in other areas of the arts, or maybe want to get started, what would you say?
So I'd say there's just simply no such thing as an overnight success. Hard work always pays off, and it's okay to let yourself grow and change. It's life, and we're going to keep flowing and adapting.
Well, thank you so much for coming to chat to us today, Charlotte. Our first episode of the year. What an amazing way to start it. Thank you so much. It's been just so wonderful.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
love you both. Cheers.
Love
Love
you
you too.
too.
Miss you. We'll have a big hug soon.
Oh, yeah, we will. I hope so. Hopefully 2021, that's when things like that can happen. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode.
If you'd like to be a part of the artwork conversation, we would love to invite you to join our Artwork Community Facebook group, where you can connect with the artists we featured on the podcast and share your journey with a like-minded community. You can find the link in the show notes, as well as all the links to today's artist.
If you've enjoyed this episode, we'd really appreciate it if you would take the time to subscribe to and review it so that more people can find us in the future. Your comments can help us pop up on more people's suggested podcasts, helping our artist stories reach a wider audience.
Podcasts are best spread by word of mouth, so if you know people who might enjoy this episode or the Artwork podcast as a whole, we would love it if you told them all about it.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at art.workconversation.
And tune in next week for another inspiring episode.
Bye!
Bye.